for sick people until die, caring until die. And the learning approach that has been carried in Islamic boarding school so far can increase self-confidence and the ability to take care for patient. And I try to combine with concept spiritual care to increase competence nursing student about spiritual care.
Thank you. So, shall we move to next presenter, Abdul Haris? Okay. This topic is the effect of implementation of adult learning concepts on health students to understanding of lecture material, systematic review.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Excuse me, my name is Abdul Haris. I come from Indonesia. The title of the effect of implementation adult learning concept on health student to understanding of lecture materials are systematic reviews. If you are arrived for this ballroom, then the reason for the outrage because you are want to improve your educational levels. We come from different nations, but we have same campus in Lincoln University College. The substance that I want to discuss is not on the condition of our different countries of origin. If we will remain in the minds of our different education students of the university where we work. We have thoroughly discussed the concept of Socrates with dialectic, Plato with academia, and Aristotle at Lyceum, which resulted the concept of idealism and empirism. We are not arguing who the best of the three, but we need to reflect and how and what effort were made by Socrates to make Plato great. Likewise, Plato, what strategy did he built to produce an intelligent Aristotle? The answer in the concept of andragogy or adult learning. Strong critical thinking skill requires a learning model that is able to support student learning activity that are able to bring out character that produce logical and rational reason, provide reflective decision, and provide assessment of what should and should not be done and believed. Based on relevant research, the learning model that has the positive influence on critical thinking skill is blend process wise integrated with concentric skill 21. Where using this model so that it can improve student thinking skill and shape student character in solving problems. College students are students who are the hope and the nation and state. The andragogical learning process to expect it to be able to make them a generation with character by forming characters to create human civilization. However, the learning system is still predominantly pedagogical, so that students then not be directly involved in learning preparation, the application of adult learning concept. For this reason, it is necessary to look at influence of adult learning. Research method. Data from the last 5 years, 2019 until 2025-24, found publication data on the concept of adult learning as many 27,500 publications, and significant in 2024 as many as 6,310 publications. Of the total publication we found, 10 that we were relevant and met the review criteria. This is concept and method to our saringan to filter the publication. So I found the 10 of article to improve our concept today. So, result and discussion. The results show the lecture using the concepts of adult learning have result with increased satisfaction in learning. Because my mindset that if you are the lecturer, give the material for our student in the classroom, we shall give for them the freedom, and we have they are is the human right, and they are need the material for our process in the classroom, because it has caused them to be involved in carrying out analyze both directly and indirectly. Conclusion. In the future, in the necessary to carry out a comprehensive campaign effort so that learning with the concept of adult learning continues to be implemented, and by funding various strategies that involve student and lecture systematically. Ladies and gentlemen, Socrates was great because he created the great Plato. Then Plato was great because she created the great Aristotle. So, if you are the lecturer, who's the student to be, you are give, they are to greet. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul Haris. Okay, any question from Florence? Yes, please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mida. I interest your research. I want to ask you, what are your corrections to the student learning process on your campus? Thank you.
Excuse me, can you say
what
once
are
more?
your corrections to the student learning process on your campus?
In my campus, maybe for my country. Excuse me. The process student and study in Indonesia must be dominantly is lecturers. My mean, the student we are to make the art is basic. So, in our, we hope for the next time we make the art to active learning in the class, because they are can to speak and can to think directly on indirectly. Thank you. Oh. That click to my heart. To begin with.
Congratulations, your presentation is nice.
Yeah.
And then I want to ask you about what your hope for your future college in your country, about the learning.
Oh yeah, my hope for adult learning in my countries. Thank you. We need a policy because we don't have for every a new president of Indonesia, the rule is replaced. Setiap presiden baru aturan diubah. So we have to mengambil, to take, mengadopsi. The adoption, the concept they are learning for the all process in a classroom and give the opportunity for our students to active learning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Next presenter, we call for Wiwit Febrina. The title of the presentation is Basic Needs Satisfaction in Chronic Kidney Disease with Hemodialysis Patient. Please welcome Wiwit.
Iya. Cuman kita masih di dalam yayasan. Kita jadi kan tahun ini kemarin ini 2025 ya. Ini 2025. Nah, kemarin kan mau membahas
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Wiwit Febrina. I want to tell you about my research. The title, Basic Needs Satisfaction in Chronic Kidney Disease with Hemodialysis Patient. Background of the study, chronic kidney disease is an enormous health problem globally that is related to high morbidity and mortality and stage renal disease. Hemodialysis is most common replacement therapy of renal function in patients with chronic kidney disease. Hemodialysis is the commonest form of kidney replacement therapy in the world, accounting for approximately 69% of all kidney replacement therapy and 89% of all dialysis. Patients undergoing chronic kidney disease with hemodialysis often experience a decrease in quality of life. That given the management of hemodialysis demand patient awareness and participation in the therapeutic regimen. It is essential to enhance self-care and promote autonomy with the ultimate goal to increase adherence and empower patients to survive. Prevalence of chronic kidney disease on hemodialysis. Chronic kidney disease is a progressive condition that affects more than 10% of the general population worldwide, amounting to more than 800 million individuals. The prevalence of hemodialysis increased substantially, 86.8% and 90.6% between 2010 and until 2018. Globally, chronic kidney disease that rank of 20th in mortality rates. Indonesia report the highest prevalence, affecting approximately 499,800 people, representing 2% of the population. According to the Indonesian Health Research 2018 data, the prevalence of chronic kidney disease increased from 2% until 3.8%, with 19.3% of patients undergoing active hemodialysis. In West Sumatra, there were 368 kidney failure patients and 52% of them undergoing hemodialysis. The indicator of self-care management consists basic need on hemodialysis patient. The need of hemodialysis patient can be explained to Maslow hierarchy theory as physiological, safety, belonging, self-esteem, and self-actualization. The objective of this study, understanding the frequency distribution of basic needs among hemodialysis patients. The research gap we can see in this basic needs satisfaction hemodialysis, it's a correlation with self-care management that can improving quality of life. There are five basic needs satisfaction by Maslow. The first, psychological needs, safety, security, love, belonging, and need, self-esteem, and self-actualization. Okay, research methodology. This research is a quantitative study with a cross-sectional design with aim to determine the description of basic need satisfaction of hemodialysis patient in Ahmad Mukhtar Hospital, Bukit Tinggi, West Sumatra, Indonesia. The population are 194 patients and the sample are 85 patients based on inclusion criteria cooperative patient undergoing hemodialysis over 3 months by using accidental sampling. Data collection by using questionnaire with data analysis using univariate method. The study was approved by the Ethics Committee for the Koch University, Indonesia. Outcome the study, we can see this frequency distribution of hemodialysis patient characteristic by gender, age category, education background, and occupation. Now we can see frequency distribution of hemodialysis patient based on basic needs. Unsatisfied 30 or 35.3%, satisfied basic need 55 or 64.7%. Now, according to the table present, the following finding basic need of hemodialysis patient by using like psychological is the top, unsatisfied there are 34 or 39.9%, and satisfied by basic need 51 or 60.1%.
Can you go to the conclusion, please? Because the time is up.
Okay. Okay, the future scope of the study, intervention strategies, developing an intervention to improve basic needs satisfaction such as counseling, support, or education program. The second, quality of life outcome, investigating the relationship between basic need satisfaction and quality of life, including physical and mental health. The third, patient-centered research exploring the role of the technology like telehealth or mobile application in enhance basic need satisfaction. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Uli. Any question from floors? Yes, please.
Thank you for the findings. Okay, very interesting presentation. Okay, let me introduce. My name is Sari. I come from Indonesia. I want to ask to you about your research. Why haven't you conducted research related to factors affecting hemodialysis patient? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. I will try to answer your question about how I only just descriptive in my research because I have more step to get my result in my research. The first, I want to see how descriptive about basic need satisfaction hemodialysis, and after that I will looking for the factor that correlation with them. And after that, if I get some some problem about the variable, about the factor. After that, I will make models, one model, and we can get experimental before and after. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Vivid. Then we go to the next presenter, Mr. Al-Barki Ahmad Abdullah. The title of the presentation is Effectiveness of an e-module on enhancing the health-related quality of life among diabetic patients post-surgical amputation in Saudi Arabia. Please welcome.
Di hotel itu ada wifi-nya.
Ke mana? Santin.
Iya, San.
Ada. Ada Pak.
Harus minta berarti.
Ada di kunci itu ada.
Oh, dikunci ada.
Ini Pak. Ya, Pak. Beberapa hari udah mau pulang baru nanyain aku wifi.
Oh, tadi malam saya datang.
Iya, datang. Oh, ke malam. Maka kan hari ini dia terus masuk. Jadi cuma ikut itu aja.
Enggak ketemu. Terima kasih.
Ngapain? Yang terakhir bentar.
Oh, iya kan? Kan belum baca itu.
Tadi gara-gara sedikit. Hah? Iya.
Lagi sih grup juga.
Grup yang
Myanmar kan Indonesia.
kami ini sebenarnya kan awalnya kami 9 orang dari Indonesia loh. Kami terbagi jadi kami ada grup sendiri yang 9 orang
Welcome to my
ini.
presentation on the effectiveness of
Makanya kenapa kami
and enhancing the health-related quality of life among diabetic patients post-surgical rehabilitation in Saudi Arabia. I am Ahmad Al-Barki in Saudi Arabia.
kami perempuan umur 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's begin with the overview of the problem. Diabetic patients in Saudi Arabia face significant challenges after surgical rehabilitation, particularly due to limited accessibility and effectiveness of educational resources. The study hypothesized that implementation of an e-model can enhance the health-related quality of life for these patients. Methodology I used was experimental study design. After using the G-Power software, become with me 80 participants did for sample. I divided them to two groups, 40 experimental patients and 44 control patients. And this is the QR code. Anyone he can scan to reach my e-module or the questionnaire. And this is the video showing the e-module that I use. The Epsilon MBT survey questionnaire, quality of life, was adapted in Saudi context. The study adapted the Epsilon MBT quality of life questionnaire to Saudi context. A pilot study was conducted, which yielded Bach alpha the reliability score over 0.70. Findings. The final full scale result of both pre-test and post-test. The Mann-Whitney U-test result for vitality domain is significant, p-value less than 0.05. Physical functioning is significant also, and the whole physical was significant also. The Kruskal-Wallis test for social functioning also it was significant. The overall result demonstrates that the module was highly effective in improving the various health-related quality of life domain for diabetic patient post-surgical amputation. In conclusion, the study confirmed that the module effectiveness is significantly enhancing the health-related quality of life for diabetic patients following surgical amputation. This is my references, and I'm happy to receive any question. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question from the floor? Okay, let's come. Yes, thank you. My name is Christina. I'm from Indonesia. I also have my previous research just like yours. I mean, like the E module, but in the different population, different sample. What I'd like to ask, I want to improve my my text. I mean, for the digital health and so on. But I would like to ask you, since you didn't mention, I believe, or maybe I just missed it. For the introduction session for the E module, how many hours or how many times you will do the duration, and then after you introduce the E modules, did you do some evaluation or follow up for the participants? Is there any follow up? Is there any physical examination or contact like that? And for the health related quality of life itself, what kind of category? I mean, did you include the lab result and so on inside of it, the biomarker, right? Thank you.
Okay. About your question now, I was doing the second review before for more than 330 studies before, so I have some domains. It was including with the physical domains and vitality domain and the whole physical, mental health. About the introduction for my A module, yes, I take a long time with that one to initiate. I changed it so many times to the third question, what was? Sorry.
The duration of your study. Duration of the study. Duration of your study. How long?
You mean when using the module for experimental, you mean?
Yeah, for example, as mine before, I just do it for 3 months and I get the result.
No.
And that's the differences. And how about yours?
For mine, and now for 30 days only, 1 month.
1 month.
Yeah, I did pre-test before and post-test after 1 month.
1 month.
Yeah.
Duration. How many visits? I mean, in 1 month, it's only once in a week, or we have to visit them. Follow up them daily, like that.
I have actually direct link with anyone who participates in my module. There is like chat box down. If he has anything, if he wants to ask anything, he can contact me directly.
Okay. You use some application for that, mobile phone, like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Al-Baki.
Thank you very much.
Next presenters is Mr. Gulnas. The title is Intensive Neuropsychological Rehabilitation and Conventional Rehabilitation for Improving Quality of Life of Children with Cerebral Palsy and a Double-Blinded Randomized Control Trial.
Assalamualaikum, ladies, gentlemen, respected my chair and co-chair. Good afternoon. Today, first I introduce myself. I come from Pakistan. I am working as Head of Department Assistant Professor in Superior University, and I am the PhD scholar in Lincoln University. My topic of presentation is intensive neurophysiological rehabilitation in CP children. In CP children, there is the decrease in the quality of life. With the passage of time, their CP becomes worsened and their functional and motor functional will be decreased. Cerebral palsy is a common cause of motor disorder in children, affecting 1.5 to 3% of live birth. In Pakistan, there is the prevalence of 2% of 1,000 birth of cerebral palsy. In lower middle areas of Pakistan, there is the large amount of the large population of cerebral palsy children. This ratio depends upon vary from male to female. In female, cerebral palsy patients are less, but according to research, male population of cerebral palsy children are more. Cerebral palsy can be classified according to various factors such as motor distributions, affected extremities, and brain lesion occasion. Spasticity is one of the main contributing factors to the movement dysfunction in the individual with cerebral palsy. Speech is among the fine and gross motor capabilities impacted by cerebral palsy. The most common anti-gravity muscles has comparatively high muscle tonality than other muscles, making it difficult to control voluntarily movements and poor coordination and quality and lack of smoothness in movement and caused by imbalance in the muscles. Strength. Additionally, there has been a delay to start the muscle activation, distributions and proprioceptions and neuromuscular coordinations among the children of cerebral palsy. The NIRC. What is the INRC? INRC is the intensive not ma'am psychological, it is physiological. Neurophysiological change, which is the rehabilitation system, which includes the multiple therapies, which include the spinal therapy, which include physical therapy, occupational therapy, and the gaming zone with gait training. And the time durations is the different for every treatment. It's a combination of whole different treatments which will be given to the 1 hour session of 20 minutes divided into according to the child conditions and the spasticity grade and according to the grade of gross motor functional scale. What is the scale? What is the 4 scales we get the different treatment, and it is the our inclusion criteria. We have divided in exclusion and inclusion criteria. We have done with the patients with 3rd to 4th gross motor classification system and MCDD, which have the hand movements with gross motor function and association with them, and it has been published in Scopus Index Journal, my first article. Now the second article has been published. It has been literature review. Many studies has been done according to this. Tone reduction and physical therapy strengthening partner in the treatment of children with cerebral palsy, and they do the deep brain stimulation exercises with vibration therapies. In 2023, a journal has been published, the neurophysiological rehabilitation approaches that combines the effectiveness and improves their motor function. But in my study, I have done with the quality of life, including with the motor function, including with their neuromuscular endurance, including with their gait training, and all their daily life activities. The intensive neurophysiological rehabilitation is the combination of many therapies, which I mentioned earlier: physical therapy session lasting 30 minutes, occupational therapy session 20 minutes, including buttoning the cloth, threading. Cerebral children are most dependent children on their caregiver. This treatment is most effectively facilitate them to be somehow functional with their daily core activities. Next is the 5-minute joint mobilization, 5 minutes of spinal manipulations, treadmill gait trainings, and
flexibility, and postural awareness. The result of this study helped other participants choose which approach or technique will be more benefit for the CP children, so that other participants use in future for quick and better recovery. And this study is also benefit for improving the prognosis period as well. The objective of my study is to determine the pediatric rehabilitation for children with cerebral palsy through intensive neurophysiological rehabilitation system and conventional therapy and innovative approach to reduce spasticity and improve motor function and quality of life.
I'm really sorry that I'm going to go to the last slide, please. Time's up.
Thank you, ma'am. I have, this is a randomized control trial, and Thailand Clinical Trial Register has been approved this trial. I use the G-Power software, and 36 is my sample size. I use the non-probability convenience sampling, and I collect the data from Chaudhry Mohammad Akram Teaching Hospitals. After the approval, 9 months I have to be done with the data. Inclusion criteria, male and female, 5 to 10 years of age, and the exclusion criteria with a severe intellectual disability or other medical history or on the fractured bones, uncooperative behaviors will be excluded. Main variables, I use the quality of life and gross motor functional measurement tools. Data analysis, I use the first Shapiro-Wolf test, which tests the normality, and then I perform this t-test for the normality, and then data shows that my treatment, intensive neurorehabilitation, is the most effective treatment than any other, which reduce the spasticity and also improve the functional gait training of my student. Recommendation: research should be done, refined, devices based on user feedback and technologies advancement. Clinicians should incorporate this technology for better result in children beyond the cerebral palsy. This is the quality of life of children's questionnaire, and thank you. And lastly, I want to give my heartfelt gratitude to my respected supervisor, who always give me the valuable time and who always assist me, Professor Dr. Surya Kala. And my special thanks to the person to whom I was standing there, my father and my mother, who always support me in every platform and for the well-being of humanity. Thank you. Thank you.
Any question from floors? Okay, no question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, next presenter is Ahda Maulana. Is Ahda here? Okay, the title is The Relationship Between Peer Support and Anxiety in Preclinical Students at the Pekanbaru Medical Center, College of Health Sciences.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon everyone. First of all, I want to thank everyone who took time to attend to listening to my presentation this time. The relationship between peer support and NCTF in preclinical students at the Pekanbaru Medical Center, College of Health Science. Anxieties are also called anxiety is very common, tell be everyone. Anxiety, this is not handled properly, can interfere with daily activities and decrease the quality of life. WHO recommends that people with anxiety receive appropriate treatment. Medication in order to manage anxiety symptoms effectively. The effect of anxiety are related to symptoms because they appear naturally in everyday life or as a dynamic process in person. Anxiety usually comes from the perception of uncontrolled events, so individual will focus on controlled action since 2019.
Mr. Ahda, can you move your slide?
Sorry. General purpose. The study aims to find out per-supervised anxieties in preclinic student of Stiker Pekanbaru Medical Center is 2004. Special purpose. The specific objective of this study are: A. To identify the characteristic of respondents of age, gender, education at Stiker Pekanbaru Medical Center. B. To find out the level of anxieties in the respondent student in the 2022 and 2023 batch of Stiker Pekanbaru Medical Center nursing student. C. To analyze the relationship between peers toward anxieties in Stiker Pekanbaru Medical Center student. Preview research. Yusuf Adi Subutro 22-21. Peer social support and self-concept towards self-adjustment in class X high school student. Significant result were obtained when a p-value of 0.01, meaning not enough, 0.01, meaning that it has positive effect in both support increase, self-adjustment will also increase. Intania Nurfadila Surasa 2002, 2021, the relationship of social support to self-esteem. It was found that the influence respondent to have high self-esteem with that most respondents found that they felt proud they were given to by friend as many as 61 or 62, 98%. They felt comfortable with hanging out with friends as many as 60 out of 60 to 98%. Research method. The research choice is qualitative research method with the observational type analytic using a cross-sectional approach. Sample. Students of the S1 nursing study program. Population Stiker Pekanbaru Medical Center student at level 2 and 3 of the S1 nursing study program. Total sampling. Total 2 students. Sampling technique, total sampling. Result. Based of the characteristic, the result will obtain the almost half of the respondents were 20 years old, 44.3%, with the gender almost entirely female, with a total of 62 people, 88.6%, and more than half of the term level. Class of level 2 amounted to 42 students, 60.0%. Based of peer support, almost all of the categories were sufficient, with a total of 558 respondents, 82.6%. A small persons group with a total of 12 respondents, 17.1%.
I'm really sorry that. Can you please go to the last slide, please?
Yes.
Sorry.
Anjing juga saya ahli.
It's how the student can prevent and avoid an anxiety behavior in completing pre-clinic in student, and then be able to provide motivation to prevent anxiety so that a change in behavior can be carried out in the future.
Siapa?
hilang lagi sama Myanmar mana?
Thank you.
That is the content of my presentation this time. Hopefully what I say can be useful for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul. Any question from floors? Alright, if no question, then thank you. Alright, the next presenter is Yang Wei. The title of the presentation is Optimizing Cost-Effective Maintenance Strategies for AI and Machine Learning Implementations in Information Technology.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yang Wei. I'm from China. My research name is Optimizing Cost-Effective Maintenance Strategies for AI and Machine Learning Implementations in Information Technology. The research background: AI, and ML integration both data analytics and efficient in IT operations. Challenges include balancing cost with performance and dependability in maintenance. Study offers strategies for cost-effective ROI-focused maintenance planning. How can organizations effectively manage the escalating cost of AI and ML maintenance while ensuring optimal system performance and reliability? What strategies can address the challenges of maintaining dynamic AI and ML systems, such as data drift and continuous algorithm updates? Main object: develop cost-effective maintenance strategies to balance escalating expenses with optimal performance and reliability of AI and ML systems. Design frameworks to address challenges in maintaining dynamic AI and ML systems, including data drift and algorithm updates. Purpose: proactive, predictive, and automated maintenance approaches to enhance system longevity and maximize return on investment. The research methods use sparse and question, with a substantial test result, but later test special from powered the association matrix is not an identity matrix. Discussion: proactive maintenance address data drift and model differentiation with predictive strategies. Automation balance real-time monitoring, reduce downtime and long-term cost. Efficient frameworks combine continuous learning and duties for scalable maintenance.